Hello, everyone. Today, I'm excited to interview another millionaire in my company. I've been looking forward to this interview for a while now. Now, before I get right into the interview, I want to take a moment to introduce Rex Wu. Rex is one of the millionaire earner in my company. In America today, out of 1,000 people, only one person make over 7-digit figure income a year. And Rex is one of them. And as an entrepreneur in the world today, if your dream is one day to achieve 7-digit figure income a year, you probably want to listen and learn from someone who done it, been there, still doing it like a Rex Wu. And besides the opportunity side, Rex happened to be my brother, my older brother. And we have been working together in the business for over 15 years now. Yep. And when it comes down to working with family members, there are always two schools of thoughts. The first school of thought is that never, ever, ever work with your family members. And that is a disaster. Don't ever, ever do it. Then another school of thought is always try your best to bring your family member into the business that you're in, because that could be the most amazing thing that can ever happen to you as an entrepreneur. Honestly, personally for myself, when I started as an entrepreneur and I had an opportunity to work with Rex, it started off in a situation where we have our differences. But very blessingly, through time, we worked out those differences. I can honestly say that now we work perfectly as a yin and a yang. So I'm very excited today to have a chance to interview my older brother. Now let's get right into the interview, all right? So Rex, if you don't mind, let's start off the interview by sharing with the audience a little bit about yourself, who you are. Did you always wanted to be an entrepreneur at the beginning? Why or why not? And how did you get started as an entrepreneur?
Well, thanks for this opportunity. First and foremost, I'm excited to be here today. Just very interestingly that my background, my education, even my personality actually, had me to really think that I'm not supposed to be fit into the business world, right? To be honest with you, I growing up back home in China, I never thought about being an entrepreneur or becoming a business owner because school always teach you to go the traditional route, right? I was never exposed to the idea of entrepreneurship, business owners, create something for yourself, right? And build your lifestyle. I've always brought up in the environment that go to school, get good grades, study hard, and then eventually someone else will be taking care of you by offering you a great job. It's not until I came to America when I was 13 years old, then I start to get exposed more and more and more to businesses, entrepreneurship, people who build a fantastic lifestyle, people that acquire a lot of wealth because they own a business. So slowly but surely, once I got exposed to the idea of entrepreneurship, I actually got interested very much into it. And you asked, like, do I have the entrepreneur in me, or have I already thought about that? As a matter of fact, I always wanted to create something as I was growing up.
Sure.
Even though I was never exposed to it, but I always wanted to invent something, create something. And when I was in middle school, for example, I actually had the idea of creating some kind of device and have thousands of songs in that one device. And as you could probably know, that's iPod. Right? And that idea was, when I was in middle school, I already thought about it way before iPod came out. I could document it. I could even send you the letter I wrote to my middle school teacher to show my whole essay about the whole device, way before Apple actually created that actual idea. But in life, it's not about the idea. It's about the execution and the implementation. So I always have that entrepreneur spirit in me, to be honest with you. But I just never thought about going out there and create my own income, create my own lifestyle. Never thought about that. And I actually kind of stumbled into it, right? And just at the time that I was not wholeheartedly satisfied with my corporate America job, got out of school, named MIT, and got a corporate America job. But at the end of the day, I'm just always want more in life. I'm that type of person that I want to own something. I want to create something, because that's, at the end of the day, that's in my DNA.
Now that you have achieved 7-figure income earning a year, now that's big. I mean, that's the American dream, Rex. you know, when we were little kids after our dad passed away. And I got into the sales world at the age of 20 years old, got my insurance license at age 21 years old. And always my dream was to get to that $1 million income a year to become a millionaire. You know, it sounds so cool to become a millionaire. So every time I remember when I came home from my business meeting and trainings, I was so fired up. And I was always trying to sell you that dream and motivating you. And that day will come, we'll be millionaire, we'll be millionaire, we'll be millionaire. And you know, it's truly a miracle in a sense. You know, even though I don't really believe in miracle, but I have to use that word miracle on this specific message here, is that we both became multimillionaires. Now that you have achieved that dream that we were talking about when we were a little kid, what inspires you still? What motivates you still? Now you got all the money. I mean, you live into it. Look at this house, man. You live in an amazing place. In the back of your house here is beautiful mountain view. Over there is ocean, and the weather is gorgeous. You got everything a man ever wanted, right? So what inspired you?
Well, what has inspired me is my family, right? I want to build something for my family. I want to leave them a legacy. It's just absolutely amazing to see that through entrepreneurship or building your own business, you'll be able to create something that is so substantial. You can provide to your spouse, your kids, your loved ones, and just be able to, you know, see them happy, you know, every day. So that's what inspires me. But obviously, if it's just you and to your family, that is still a very, very limited inspiration. You know, at this point right now, if you say, well, do you have any new inspiration? I say, absolutely. You know, my inspiration has changed. Right. My motivation has kind of evolved over the years. If my focus is just my family, I probably don't want to work that hard anymore, right? Sure. But what inspired me today to continue to try to work as much as I can is for the people that entrusted in me. You know, not just my immediate family, it's the people that put their trust and their hope and say, Rex, I saw what you have done, what you have created. Can I be part of that venture? Do I have a chance to be part of the venture, right? It's those folks that I'm so motivated and so inspired, because sometimes when you're able to help others, that's not your immediate family, to achieve their goals. And at the end of the day, when their success and you have a little part to do with that, you know, it doesn't have to be a lot, maybe just a little bit, right? Just a fraction of 1%. That's the ultimate satisfaction, man. Because I mean, I realize in life it's not just about you and your family. It's that how do you make your life worth living on this earth, so by the time you're gone, you know, somebody still remembers you. It's not about being the multimillionaires, you know, the nice place you live, you know, your kids and all that, go to private school and all that. It's part of that. But it's got to be a higher purpose, and I think I found that, and that's why I'm excited. I'm happy, man.
I think there are always three P's in business, in life, and I as a mentor to many people these days, I always share with people that when you start as an entrepreneur, you might not have that big purpose yet, like you and I right now, and that's okay. But the first P most people going after at the beginning, initially, including myself here and you too, is pleasure, right? Pleasure meaning nice car, maybe a bigger house, better lifestyle, taking care of your family. That's all part of pleasure. Then eventually you elevate to, hopefully people can elevate to the passion part. The passion is about what? Your career, your crusade, going out there and helping people, adding value to the business, adding value to their life by providing them the right solutions, the right products. And then very few people though, Rex, I gotta say that very few people can get to the last P, which is purpose, which is beyond your family, beyond just your inner circle, or maybe people just within your company, but able to go out there and changing people's life, maybe charity like what we are doing today, contents on social media, and teaching other struggle entrepreneurs. So that's what I think motivate a person, whether it's pleasure, passion, or maybe one day purpose. And we are very blessed to get to that purpose level now. So, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs in the world today, they have one of the biggest misconception. And the misconception sometimes is, do I have to have certain personality to make it as an entrepreneur? You know, you and I, we're two different people, two different personalities, sort of speaking. Right. I'm more of a sales type of guy, people person, that's what people call me. And you are more of a analytical, technical, engineer-minded individual, right? We're different, but we both made it. We both made it, okay? And would you mind to share with the audience, in your perspective, what is your greatest strength that had helped you to become successful as an entrepreneur today?
I'm not a quitter. Okay, I don't quit if I'm going to decide to start doing something. I will make sure that I see the end of it. I want to follow through and making sure that I complete the task. Right. To kind of piggyback on that strength, I'm kind of like a problem solver. Right. You mentioned about analytical and technical and stuff like that, but that's something that this strength is required if you want to become successful in life. Is that you got to be not satisfied with where you're at right now constantly. You got to always want more, always want better. You know, I'm the type of guy that think that there's always got to be a better way to do things. Okay, and if there's a challenge on your path, if there's an obstacle on your path, instead of like avoiding it, go solve it, right? Go figure out a better way to overcome it, right? So I think that is a strength that I developed over the years. I acquired it. I wasn't born with it, right? I acquired it later on. I just got to make things better. If it's a tough situation, I make it easier. If it's a big obstacle come in, I got to resolve it. I got to tackle it. I'm not a quitter. You know, I'll get the job done. It doesn't matter what throws at me. I don't know if you still remember, back in the old days when we started a business, I mean, the problem was that we had no resources. Yeah,
we ain't had no website.
That's zero.
No technology, not much thing going on our side.
Nothing, no training.
We were against the wind.
Yes, everything was against us, right? And so you got a big obstacle coming in. Are you gonna quit?
Sure.
And say, well, forget it, let me go change to another company, another industry? No, so being a problem solver, say, well, let's go and tackle that, you know? So we create our own training, right? Our own PowerPoints.
We figured out.
Yes.
Our stuff.
Right.
You know what I love what you just talk about is never give up and figure out a way to win. There's so many complainers, whiners in the world today. They want to succeed in business, but they always have a legitimate reason why they're not making it, and they start to complain and blaming on others, blaming on others. You know, my perspective is very simple. If you want to be successful in any industry, like you and I, right, you got to stick to one industry for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And that's the problem for a lot of entrepreneurs out there. When they try for 1 year, it doesn't work. They jump to another opportunity and try it out, and it doesn't work, and they jump to another one. And, you know, they just can't focus on one thing. So now, you know, every single day, you are dealing with a lot of people in your organization now, in your company, thousands and thousands reps working with you today. And as much as we love to work with all the positive people, but that's not going to happen, right? You are bound to bump into a lot of negative people as well.
Of course.
In your organization. How do you deal with that?
You know, after coming into the entrepreneurship world, I very quickly realized that this is part of life. This is part of business. This is part of any journey that you're gonna, you know, get yourself onto. So the way that I tackle this issue, or how to deal with negative people, as you mentioned, I have a systematic way. It's pretty much boils down to 3 steps. Step number 1 is realize there's negative people out there. Realize there's normal, right? Anticipate. Understand that this is a very, very normal situation, that in any organization, in any greatest companies out there, there's going to be people that's not in agreement with you. They might be negative or whatever that might be. So accept that. Accept for who they are, and most importantly, forgive them, right? And have to have the big loving heart to say we're all imperfect people here. Okay. Step number 2 is offer a chance for them to correct themselves, right? for me to deal with negative people, I don't like to text, I don't like to email. I don't even like to do over phone conversation. I like to offer a chance to do face-to-face. Very important to me, all right? Because I think that's the only chance that I can really connect with this person and offer them my recommendation. Instead of like jump to conclusion right away, on the second step when I see them, I put myself in their shoes and try to understand where's all this negativity coming from. And once I understand them, put myself in the shoes, then very quickly I step out of that, then I would basically make recommendations to say, let's correct this, all right? Let's not dwell on this negativity, because negativity is not gonna help you to succeed in this business, right? And then hopefully the second step is enough. And then if that's not enough, then obviously the third step, if they don't change, they continue to be very, 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 very negative. The third step for me is that I will continue to pray for them. All right, I continue to pray for them, continue to love for who they are, because we're human beings. But then I can choose not to work with them. Right? Absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty about the business world, that I own my own business. Being an entrepreneur, I have the flexibility to not work with negative people. I can choose who to work with, who not to work with. So if it comes down to the third step, I pray for them. I choose the fact that I don't need to work with them. And maybe even if they're so negative, I may even need to say, well, put them aside. Isolate them from the bulk of my team if I don't want them to affect me.
Right.
All right.
You have a big heart, Rex. You have a big heart. Let me jump right in here. I want to add one more point before we move on. Is there is nothing more important. You know, being an entrepreneur, there's nothing more important than who's around you. It's what I call the power of association. Yeah. Right. And you know, your willpower is actually less important than the power of association. Through 20 years being in the business today, as motivated as I am today, I can tell you, if you throw me into an environment of lots of negative people for 30 days straight, and I have nowhere to go, and I have to stick with them every single day, and I promise you, 30 days from now, I'll be a totally different person. Because your willpower only can go so far. So choosing the right partners in business, having the right people around you is the most important ingredient to become successful. Very true. And those days, the days I got rid of all the negative people in my life, Rex, you know who some of those people are, and you know some of them, I instantly started to become successful in a lot of different ways. Since we are on the topic of entrepreneurship, what is your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur? Sure.
Well, no question in my mind is freedom. When I say freedom, we're talking about financial freedom, but more importantly is time freedom. Being able to, you know, do the things you love to do with the people you absolutely love to do it with, that is priceless. Thing I love to do all the time is to hang out with my kids, right? And you know, I love to go to see their activities. My son is in football league. I love to not miss any single one of his games, right? My daughter's in pianos and choir and all that kind of stuff. I love to see every single one of those, right? So being an entrepreneur, you have the freedom to do all those things that if you don't, you know, you don't have the resources or make the type of money you make, it's very hard sometimes that you just be constantly thinking about making money. And then you forget about, you know, these most important things in life. And for me is absolutely the freedom to enjoy those amazing things. So you probably made a lot of mistakes in the last 20 years being an entrepreneur. So if you have to give some advices to some of the rookie entrepreneurs in the world today, what are some of the major mistakes they should avoid as an entrepreneur? What would some of those mistakes be? Sure. Wow. I have so many, man. And well, if you ask me to give maybe top three, I say the first one is I play too much on defense in my entrepreneurship world. Is that I make the money, I like to protect it. Right. I make the money, I like to save it aside. Right. You know. But later on, I realized that, man, you know, if you're happy with your current situation, with your business right now, that's probably okay to do. But if you want to grow, if you want to take it to the next level, triple, quadruple it, you can't play safe. You got to play offense. I like that. And that means to reinvest your profit back into the business, majority of the profit back into the business, and that's how you can be able to grow as quickly as possible. So that was the number one mistake that I make. I would say the second biggest mistake that I make is going out there and start doing things when I don't really understand it. What I mean by that is that you just do it because everybody else is excited about it, right? And so you go with the masses. You go with what everybody is doing. You go with the hottest topic out there in the industry, right? Everybody's going in there. It's got to be good. Let's go ahead and do it. So you're so afraid to miss the pie. So that's the biggest mistake. Sometimes it's not just because everybody is doing it. Sometimes the road less traveled is the best road. And then the last mistake I make is just being too nice of a leader over the years. You know, I always the type of person that I always like worry about what other people think, concerned, very, very sensitive of how people think and stuff like that, and which is a good attribute, I think. But what I forgotten to know, what I didn't know about is that you can't just be nice. You have to be also strong at the same time. So those are the three mistakes.
And the first one you mentioned was actually, you know, very big for entrepreneurs to learn. Now there are so many leaders, so many managers in our company today, thousands and thousands of them. What is the one strength that you think, that you believe that separate you than the rest of them?
Really not a whole lot. Well, I mean,
there's got to be something different about you,
of course,
that making you to be the top 1% earner in the industry today.
Yeah.
And while the other people are working hard too, but they're not there. So
sure,
people want to find out, what do you have that, you know, give you the extra kicks to get to that income? Yeah. And they're looking for it.
Yeah. So talking to folks in my company, in my organization, right? You know, I think one thing that I stand out, you know, and I hold a lot of passion on that is that I mentioned about problem solving, right? But I know how to turn, first and foremost, I know how to look at a very complicated problem.
Technical guy.
And somehow understand it very, very quickly. Yeah. And I know how to turn very complex concepts into something that's very simple and easy for people to understand. In business, I think in order for you to be successful in promoting your idea, whatever the idea is, you got to make it so simple for people to understand. If you cannot explain your idea or your product or your opportunity in less than 30 seconds to the public, you don't quite understand that, whatever you're selling right now, all right? And then you need to understand it so that you can explain whatever you're doing in about 30 seconds. If you can do that, then you can simplify whatever big concept you have down to a point that people can truly understand and connect with you.
I think also, Rex, the reason why our company is scaling so fast today is because we have leaders that has opposing strength. You know, I think you and I work so well together all these years is because the strength you have, it might be my leaks, it might be my weaknesses. And the strength I have, it could be your weaknesses. But when we combine together and able to see a bigger vision, put our ego aside and work together and fill in those leaks that you have and I have and other people have, then ultimately the company explodes. So it's extremely important, in my opinion, is not just looking for talented people who have exactly the same strength as you, but also always constantly looking for opposing strength of leaders that can fill in your leaks. Nowadays, on social media, on YouTube, Twitter, pretty much all the social media platforms, Rex, everybody is talking about entrepreneurship today. Everybody.
Sure.
But we all know not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur, right? In your perspective, would you recommend people to become an entrepreneur? Why or why not?
I say 1000% yes. Being an entrepreneur, the reward to risk ratio is so big. There is risk involved, right? Because it's not guaranteed. But then if it does happen, the reward is so much bigger. I personally experienced it. So understand the reward to risk ratio is absolutely something that everybody should consider. That's number one point. But however, it's not for everybody. So let people have the freedom to expose to entrepreneurship. They understand the pros and cons of getting into business for themselves and let them decide. And that is my best recommendation.
And the last question for you is, there are a lot of startup rookie entrepreneur starting their business every single day. what would be the one piece of advice you want to give it to some of this young rookie entrepreneur just started their career?
If there's one piece of advice I can give, I would say, don't chase after money, but chase after passion, right? Go after what you absolutely believe in first. Go into the industry, find a company, find a product that you're absolutely passionate about, that can keep you up at night, keep you wake up early in the morning, that you truly believe that what you do have a great impact on the society. You just love what you do. It's not just for the money. That comes later. The single most important thing before you get into your business, start entrepreneurship, is to decide what industry to be in, what company to be with, all right? And just find that one passion that you absolutely go crazy about. Like, once you find your passion, find the right platform, right company, all right? They can facilitate, give you the resources, the right culture to get to that passion. And the last thing is, don't stop until you get there. Don't ever quit. I'll give you 3 advices, but the most important is start with passion.
Great quote. You just said that don't chase after money, chase after your passion. And I think a lot of people absolutely reverse those 2 things. They chase after money first, and it doesn't go very far if it's just about money. And Steve Jobs talked about it all the time, and he said that when he was started Apple, he said that if you wake up in the morning, you're not excited about what you do, search for the next opportunity, and don't give up until you find that one opportunity that you're passionate about. Just kind of like similar to what you just talked about. So thank you, Rex, for this amazing interview. Appreciate your valuable time here.
Thank you.
I think your contents, your messages, definitely is helping a lot of people who's watching our channel, following our content. So whether you're a struggle entrepreneur, being in business for 5 to 10 years, you haven't got there yet, or you are just a young rookie entrepreneur, just started the last 12 months, or you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, I want you to know, the biggest thing that you can do is to give it a try, and if you don't try it, you're not going to have that opportunity. Does that mean a guarantee that you'll be successful? The answer is no. Nothing's guaranteed in life, but for Rex and I, we happen to found an industry that we fell in love with, and we hustle every day. We work extremely hard, but most importantly, we gave it all of our best, and the result was, pretty amazing. So I challenge all of you that's watching our channel, watching our contents, to believe in yourself, to believe in your dream, and surround yourself with the right people, and work very hard to find 1 or 2 mentors who's in the industry you're in, who's willing to teach you, and be loyal to them and work for them, all right? And if you do that, success is not too far away, okay? So with that being said, again, thank you for watching Millionaires Talk Season 2. With that being said, I see all of you next time. Bye-bye.